Welcome to a special edition of NHK Newsline. I'm Yamaguchi Hiroaki in Tokyo. It's March 11th, which marks the 12th anniversary of the Great East Japan earthquake. It's triggered a massive tsunami that wiped out communities, killing thousands of people. It also caused one of the world's worst nuclear disasters. This year's anniversary comes just over a month after another tragedy outside Japan. People around the world watched in horror as a series of quakes devastated parts of Turkey and Syria. It brought back painful memories for people who lived through what happened in Japan in 2011, many of whom are still struggling to rebuild their lives. Later in this program, we'll discuss a number of issues that have emerged from the cleanup at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. But first, we want to take you a few kilometers away from there to Futaba, one of the hardest hit communities. NHK World's Tashiro Kyoko is there. Kyoko, how are people marking the anniversary?
Yes, Hiroaki, I'm at a public gathering space where officials set up this memorial, and there's a ceremony going on leading up to the moment of the disaster right now. People have been arriving since morning to lay flowers and pay their respects. Officials say the disaster has claimed the lives of 179 people in this small town. Futaba has been completely evacuated following the triple meltdown at the nuclear plant. 12 years on, 95% of it is still designated as a difficult-to-return zone. Part of the evacuation order has been lifted, but only a few dozen people actually live here now, and the community still lacks important services and other infrastructure. Earlier, I spoke with people who lived through the disaster here in Futaba. They say they're facing the challenges, but still feel that special connections to their hometown.
I brought my children here for the first time and laid flowers for my late grandmother. I told her my kids are bigger now and asked her to watch over us.
I want to move back to Futaba, but I'm still unsure. It's been more than a decade, but returning here, it brings back so many memories.
At 2:46 p.m., people will observe a moment of silence to mark the time of the quake. I will be back later in the program to show you how the disaster is still affecting the area. For now, it's back to you.
Thank you, Kyoko. In just a few moments, Japan will observe a minute of silence. But right now, let's take a look on what happened on that day and what came after. And a warning, some of the images in the story may be disturbing.
At 2:46 p.m. on March 11, 2011, a magnitude 9 earthquake struck off the coast of northern Japan, the most powerful tremor ever recorded in the country. The quake triggered a massive tsunami. Waves higher than 10 meters laid waste to entire communities. Today, the total number of people dead or missing stands at more than 22,000. That includes deaths related to the disaster that happened over the years that followed. The tsunami also led to a triple meltdown at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant. Huge amounts of radioactive substances were released into the atmosphere. Wide areas were contaminated on land and offshore. More than 160,000 people were displaced. 27,000 have yet to return. Of the evacuated municipalities, Futaba remained fully cordoned off until last year. Then, in August 2022, part of it reopened, allowing some residents to go home at long last.
Now the dividing line is gone, and I feel relieved. But I think only when all kinds of people, from babies to the elderly, are back in the town, that's when I'll say we've truly recovered.
12 years on, over 300 square kilometers of land near the plant is still classified as difficult to return. Those who are still waiting to move back to those areas face an uncertain future.
Now we're approaching 2:46 p.m., the exact time when the quake struck. These are live pictures coming in from northeastern Japan. Those regions were hit especially hard by the 2011 earthquake and tsunami. 12 years on, some communities are continuing to hold official ceremonies and others are remembering the victims in small-scale events. But they are all keeping the memories of the disaster alive. The country will now observe a minute of silence for those who lost their lives in the disaster.